Transitioning clients from your diary onto a team member's diary can be one of the most difficult avenues for a business owner and a business to be able to do. We have full diaries. We're trying to get maybe new team members in a situation where they've got fuller diaries. We're trying to get new clients coming in to see them, not when they've necessarily been referred directly to us. There's a lot of complications around it, but one in which we need to be able to get right for the business and for the team member and for the clients. The following podcast is a great little 10 or 15 minute section that I've done here with a client recently that I felt was really powerful. And there's the exact words and phrases, avenues, structures that is going to be fantastic for everyone to be able to listen to, work on, and utilize to make sure that you too can have a really smooth and effective transition from clients from your diary onto other team members, particularly a new team member that needs more clientele on their diary. So get stuck in straight now, grab the gold, and start executing and having more impact. So let's do this. What if you know that the person comes in and it's lower back pain or it's diabetes or it's something that's not needing your skill set? What do you do? How do we move that across onto your team?
Yeah, I'm basically just saying to them, my books are full, or and my team member has availability. Unfortunately, I can't take you on board. That's basically how I'm doing it.
Cool. Okay. So that's one way. How does that get taken most of the time?
It's been fairly good so far.
Okay.
I could see there could be some issues with it at times.
Yeah, absolutely. See, here's the thing, right? When you get into a situation where the person is coming to you, like let's say that you actually have a scenario where the doctor's referred across or the specialist referred across or something like that to you, right? They're expecting to see you.
Yeah.
Right. So that whether we put something in place where, I'm full and things like that, I understand the mentality around that scarcity side. Absolutely. But the challenge that we have is that people are expecting to talk to Jesse, right? They're expecting to meet him. When we spoke about this before with Josh and made the comment on that before, like they are expecting you. The social proof is there. The trust is actually with you because they trust the friend or they trust the doctor that's referred.
Yeah.
So when we start to get into that situation where you're then just turning around and going, I'm full, I can't see you, right? It becomes a bit of a challenge in there for the person to really feel like they belong and then they're accepted.
Yeah.
So most of the time, 70, 80%, just call it for what it is, we'll still go ahead and book an appointment. But you'll listen and you'll hear the tonality of what they're saying and that type of stuff. They'll feel deflated. They'll feel let down.
Yeah, and I did have that with one girl the other day, and so I pretty much I heard that, and then
talk me through that. Talk me through that, because this is a really big important one for everyone, right?
Yeah, so she was one of my I guess referred for anorexia, so eating disorder, having difficulty with that, and essentially I said, at the moment my time is very limited. I may not be able to fit you in. I said I have my team member Cheyenne, and so straight away I heard.
You know what I felt when you said that? I just went, he doesn't really care for me. He doesn't want to help me.
Yeah, and that's what I heard of
people.
Yeah, I heard her voice pretty much change straight away, and she sort of questioned, does she do what I've been referred to you for? And because she didn't want to disclose really what she'd been referred for. And then so straight away I heard that, and I did book her in for me. Because I heard that, this might not work if she goes to someone else, but it does get to the point where my time's limited.
Yeah, absolutely. It does. And that's the challenge, right? And we don't want you to then feel like you've got to take on board every single client at all. Now I'll see you at 7:30 p.m. on Friday night type of thing, right?
Yeah.
And Matt's just saying there as well, he's got a similar situation with his new team member and that as well, right? So it's really important that we get this type of scenario happening. And look, some people had that mentality around creating that scarcity, that you're the prize and that type of stuff, and you can lift your prices and all this. Absolutely. There's so many different ways we can do this. But at the end of the day, a friend or a trusted medical advisor or someone in their life has told them they need to see Steve, John, Mary, right? That's who they're expecting to see. That's who they rang up to book with. If they don't do that, they're going to feel let down and deflated.
Yeah.
Half the time you might not send 20 or 30% of the time. Yeah, absolutely. You're going to feel or hear, like you just said in that example, you'll feel like something isn't quite right. All right. So what do?
Yeah, I don't know.
So here's the thing. What I think you need to do is we really need to make sure that it's almost like a triage call. Like, if you've got a child and your child falls over and they hurt themselves or they're throwing their guts up at night and you go to the ED, right? You go to the local hospital and they do a triage. So you log at the desk, you sit down, you wait your turn, then they call your name. And the triage nurse takes you off into a room and says, what's going on? Who's this? You're throwing up. What about this? What about that? And they basically spend 5 minutes triaging you, working out, are they actually emergency surgery? Have they actually swallowed something that's going to kill them? And we need to go and cut them open now. Or, what's the priority here? Is it someone that might have a fracture? Okay, let's organize an x-ray, etc. And basically what they're doing is they're triaging and allowing the doctors to work with the more critical people first and work with ICU and all this type of stuff, right? So that's sort of what they do in that situation. How they do that is they ask a heck of a lot of questions straight up. And this is where we in the health industry need to get a lot better at that sort of triage type scenario. That's why it's really important that, you follow like our sales script, it's like a sales script type of thing, like that, the original, so that I can help you best. Do you mind if I ask you a few questions, please? Right? People like Joe and that are like, yep, heard this before, right? Absolutely. That's how you need to have every single conversation started on the phone.
Yeah.
Because if you say, hi, it's Matt from, it's Jesse and, blah, 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 or I'm from ABC Healthcare, etc. How can I help? They're going to start with, I've been told I need to come and see you guys, or my doctor said this, or my friend said, or I have whatever, insert problem here. I need to make an appointment, please. Right? So who's controlling that conversation?
Me.
No, you're not.
No.
They are.
Yeah. Okay.
Right? They're the one giving information, but they're the one asking the questions like, hey, I need to do the following and I need to make an appointment. Right? And you're now left going, oh, right, yep, not a problem. And some people do that whole, I want to find out for my leads and my marketing and that who's the referral source. And I'll go, who referred you? Oh, great. Let me make sure I thank them and blah, blah, blah. And they think that's the best way of doing it. Well, the reality is this, you've got to take control of that conversation really quickly. So you want to be able to use those, that script that we actually have, the famous 16 and 17 word phrase there. And so that I can help you best, do you mind if I ask you a few questions? And put please on the end if you want the extra version, right? And so all of a sudden they say, yes, they've accepted this is how it's going to run. And as a net result, you can actually then step through this process really nicely because you're then going to start to ask what, about them. You're going to make it about them. And this goes to all the stuff that we're doing with Michael Griffiths as well. It's not what's your name, what's your mobile number, what's your email, emergency contact, who referred you, as it work, cover, Medicare, DVA. Like you don't start with the transactional shit. You just turn around and literally say, if the woman's name is Julie, you say, Julie, lovely to speak with you. Can you let me know what it is that we're needing, you're needing us to help you with?
Yeah.
And so here's the thing. You ask multiple questions and I'll send you links for our training and our scripts and that type of stuff. But now you're in control of the conversation. Now you're able to find out not who referred and that type of stuff. You're not trying to get data and test and measure on your marketing and all that crap. That's bullshit. What you're actually now doing is you're actually getting control of the conversation and asking about them. they will drip feed stuff to you. But what that does do, it allows you to automatically move your diary around to suit booking with one of your team members. Because she'll turn around and say, like if it was someone the other day that's got like an eating disorder or something like that, you're saying, she'll turn around and they won't give you all the details, but they'll say, such and such a doctor's told me that I need some help with my diet and my weight. And you're going to be cluey enough to go, okay, this is probably one that has, you know, maybe anorexia or has bulimia or has some type of mental health challenge or food, whatever, right?
Yeah.
Ask a follow-up question in regards to that. Just saying, look, you know, like, so that you're actually needing to get some meal plans in place and you actually have a challenge, you know, and whatever the words are that you're going to use, ask a follow-up question. People will give you that answer really quickly. They're not going to say, oh yeah, I suffer from this and I have all these problems. They're not going to pull their heart out, but they will give you enough information for you to make an educated play at moving them onto your team member.
Yeah. Okay.
And she turns around and says to you, hey, I've got a few challenges with, some challenges with eating and with my weight and need to talk about food and things like that. And the doctor said to come across because that's sort of your specialty. Jesse, you know what she's trying to tell you.
Yeah.
So I'd be simply going, okay, great, not a problem. That's great because several of us specialize in that. So see what I've not already done? I've now brought it into several, or actually, you know, Julie and myself are both specialists in this area.
Yeah.
And Julie's your team member, right? If that's who it is.
Yeah.
Now all of a sudden the person is hearing that you've got the solution, but it's not, I've got to go and see Jesse. You've already turned around and you're positioning your team member to be the expert authority in that space. All right.
Yeah. Yeah, that works.
So now you're not having to say you don't matter. Oh, look, I've got other things, I'm busy, etc. You're now able to literally turn it into a situation where you can say, hey, you know what? Julie and I both specialize in that. And I reckon one of the best parts about this is I actually like to drop the mic a little bit, a drop the mic moment, where I actually position the team member as a more expert authority in that area than what I am.
Yeah.
And this is exactly how I did it when I came off the tools years ago myself. This is exactly how I've done it literally dozens and dozens of times with loads of people. Because all of a sudden she's like, oh, okay, because I was told to come and see you. And you go, yeah, look, if it's to do with, and have a bit of a stab at it, right? If it's to do with actually, you know, food diaries, working with some different eating disorders, you know, anorexia and bulimia and, you know, some of the mental challenges in and around that. Obviously, it's very different from females to males as well. You know, Julie's actually, look, to be totally honest, watch me show vulnerability here, Jess, ready? Julie's actually got more authority in this area than I do.
Yeah.
Drop the mic, right? You've got a female on the phone. You've already read the situation. You know enough from one question. Now, all of a sudden, you're turning around and positioning your female, right? You've made a comment about how it's quite often it's very different from females and males as well. And to be totally honest, Julie's actually even got more authority than what I do in this space. So let's go ahead and get a time that's going to suit you to see one of us, and we'll be able to move things forward from there and get you the help that you need.
Yeah, that approach sounds really good.
Perfect, because now all of a sudden you haven't said I'll go and book you with her. You've just said let me find out a time that's going to suit you and that will suit you to be able to come and see either myself or Julie. All right, we'll be able to hang out. That's fantastic, and we'll be able to sit down and go through everything as we need to. Does that sound good to you? And the female would have gone, yeah, it does, fantastic.
Yeah.
Now all of a sudden, guess whose diary she's going to be booked on?
Yeah, and in most cases,
yours.
Yeah, like you said, in most cases, that's definitely 80% of the time they'll be happy with the transition then, and I think they'll feel a lot better about it. And there might still be the 10 or 20% that are like, no, I want to see you if we can wait or that sort of thing, and that'll be fine. Because
if you position this right, 99 times out of 100, they'll all go with the person that's the more of the authority.
Yeah. Okay.
The person who's got the better specialty.
Yeah.
And you can do this with anything, and this is how you do it. They turn around and say, oh, I've got a problem. I had a fall at work. I've got a shoulder issue. I've had some scans. Doctor wants me to come and see me for my shoulder injury. And you go, fantastic, not a problem. Let me go and get that actually, quickly, before I do that, just tell me do you know what the actual problem is? And they might say, yeah, I've got bursitis and some tendinopathy and blah, blah, blah. And you go, okay, great. Actually, awesome. And then you start to have a look on the diary and you go, actually, you know what we need to do here, Jesse? This is really hard for me to say, but I got to tell you that Steve, who's, one of my team members, he's actually a upper limb shoulder specialist. So I know this sounds a bit weird, but and it's hard for me to say this because we like to think we're fantastic in that, but to be totally honest, based on what you've said, that's like his wheelhouse. That's his genius mode. What I want to do is I want you to book in. I'm going to book you in with Steve. He's going to do a better job than what I do, which is really hard for me to say that, but I want to make sure that I do everything I can for you. Is that okay? And they're sitting there going, oh my God, how much integrity has this bloke got? He's trying to not see me to give me a better result with someone else.
Yeah.
Right? So that's how you do it across the board. And Maddie, that's how you're going to be able to do it with your team members as well. Right? Take the condition, elevate the other person into that space, and make sure you write a note about it or talk to the team member later and tap them on the shoulder. So there's a follow-up process in that. But this type of thing is absolute gold for being able to make sure that you don't make people feel like they're not important. You are really well situating and placing your team so that they know what they're doing and who they're seeing in those type of scenarios, right? And you've created that really great avenue for them to get the best out of it without you having to do appointments at 7 o'clock on a Friday night.
Yeah, perfect. Thank you. That's good.
Pleasure, man. Awesome. Cool. There's some trainings on that. You can go and pick up in the membership site there. You can go and pick up the actual scripts and that type of stuff. And we still have it where it's like a little pad that sits beside the phone and that with reception and that as well, because it actually has the words at the top for them to start with. And we've got the key dot points all the way through. So it's just that pre-framing, and we train our team on it and they know what to say, what to do. And that way it always comes out as it needs to.
Yeah, I think I've seen those before, but I'll definitely go back and review those.
Yep.
Cool.
Go and swap our logo for your logo type of thing, print them out, away you go. Easy.
Awesome. Thank you.
Pleasure, man. Hey guys, thank you very much for listening to another episode of the Profitable Practice Podcast. I would love nothing more than for you to be able to leave a review. I get so much joy out of listening and reading the amazing things that you guys say about this. So please subscribe to our channel, leave a review, and share it with your friends. Let's get some more fantastic information out there so all of us can grow the industry together. Cheers for now.